Hey, can you hear me? Hi, Diane. You can hear me? Yay! Good. Oh, I feel bad about having to stop that other one, but what I found is when the live stream has no sound, there's nothing to do but start a new one. Okay, and I did a shorter slow chat. There's only 3 seconds between them now, so we should be able to hear one another pretty well. Okay, now again, the reason I'm doing these is because, and it may be, I don't know if I've been targeted or if it's just that it's the Easter weekend, but I thought Zoom was a China product. I don't know. Anyway, my Zoom Pro account has got 3 open tickets that have had no technical support in 3 days. So I thought, let's work on live stream things and see if we can connect that way. Okay. Now, I did notice I was watching the first attempt at live stream, and the very first question I saw, don't remember who put it up there, but it was about the Walmart containers. So, okay, I see one person says no sound. Is everybody else hearing me okay? Okay, so I'm going to assume that that's on that person's end and we're doing good. I was able to angle the camera so you can see my table a little bit. I'll still use the tile board to hold up things, okay? Yeah, hit that like button. I always like that like button, okay? And you can see Chloe's in the background. She has taken to that little bed option there in the front room. And Allie's the one sleeping in the bedroom today. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Now, here's what's gonna happen. Intuitive capacity wise, what I'm finding, and my voice, because I've got vocal cord damage, as most of you know, I'm good for about an hour. And it seems like about 5 questions in that hour with discussion back and forth, give or take. It may be 6, it may be 4, it may be 7. So obviously, with lots of questions, some aren't going to get addressed. Okay, just remember what you're paying for it for this show, 0. Enjoy the topics that do get discussed. And please don't take it personally if your question isn't one of the ones that gets addressed. It's not favoritism. It's just the scroll goes by really fast. We're catching what we can. We're trying to stick with things that have a broad appeal, like geopolitical questions, things like that, the state of the world. And so, of course, we're not going to be taking personal questions today. So I saw someone was wondering about their son. And let me just tell you, if I was doing personal reads, I would have a little trouble personally diving into information about your son without his permission. This is just me. I would be wanting to frame the question in how can JoJo's mom best support him through his time and help him mature or whatever like that. So I'd be looking for ways that you could help. Now, if you think of how I would frame that question, that kind of gives you a good handle on how to tap into your own discernment on to help that adult child of yours who's going through issues, okay? So I wouldn't be wanting to get confidential information about the love life or lifestyle of someone's child. I'd be asking how they can support, show their love, be there for them and have good boundaries. Because sometimes that's what we need more than the love and support is having boundaries and knowing when to stop and say, no, I've got to take care of myself too. Okay, but let's look at that Walmart question. Apparently, there are lots of containers that are being noted at Walmart locations. Now, when Walmart was started, that was how the originator, Sam Walton, made his fortune. He bypassed having warehouses and warehouse staff. He said he wasn't going to do it. So he initiated the container type of store supply system. And then I know that we've had huge issues getting supplies and ports in during, COVID and the aftermath. So it's possible that this is, there's nothing nefarious about it, but let's ask the cards and find out. So our question about the Walmart containers, we're going to be asking the universe for information and insights about what's going on with those containers, especially is there anything beyond product storage, retail product storage that we should be aware of, okay? So let's see what the universe has to say. I'll shuffle where you can see me shuffle. I'll cut where you can see me cut, and then I'll place them on the board. Oops, have one. That was just me fumbling. I don't usually use this size deck. So I can kind of tell when they jump and when they don't. I hope you can too. So Walmart, insights and information about the containers, especially is there more than retail product storage going on there that we should be aware of. Okay, I want to do this where you can see it, so you know I'm not. Okay, and I'm sorry, I've got to watch the camera here, see where it is. I'm not trying to get it out and do anything sneaky. Okay, so our first card is the Ace of Pentacles. Then we have the Four of Swords. So yeah, some hidden information going on here. Page of Swords. The Sun. Page of Wands, another page energy card. Insights coming from Five of Wands. And the Empress. Okay. Try to get that where you can see it a little more. Okay, so if you were following along, we had that yellow stuff looks really yucky, but it's poster putty. Okay. I'm going old school here, but it's very important to me. I think the one thing that I do that I try to be very diligent about is always letting you see me shuffle, cut, and I learn about the cards as you do. Okay, so here's what we got. Our question was indicated by the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so we were asking if there was more than retail product going on here. We got a yes on that. Okay. However, I'm not getting anything too concerning here as far as what that is. So yeah, we're getting a yes, there's more than retail products being stored in those containers. Okay, and the Four of Swords usually indicates, first of all, it's kind of a thing of there's some hidden information, but don't worry about it. Okay, and then when we get into the recent past, we have the Page of Swords, which is a card of truth and diplomacy. The Sun for the present is why I'm saying I don't think we have anything to worry about, okay? And then looking forward, we have one of my unofficial white hat cards, the Page of Wands, and then the Empress and Five of Swords. So what they're doing is they are stockpiling, and there is more than retail products going on there, okay? I'm thinking that they may have some emergency supplies that they've been asked to have ready to distribute and what have you, okay, in case a time of conflict and supply interruptions comes along. But again, with the Empress here, providing some further insights for the future, and the Sun front and center for the present, I'm not getting any information that what is there beyond retail products is something we need to worry about. You know, like the infamous guillotines that 44 bought, things like that. But quite possibly emergency supplies and things like that so that they can be outreach centers. And again, kind of depends on the timeline, doesn't it? Because we know the people that stay firmly in a 3D timeline and are service to self, those containers are going to have different things than those of us that are on an ascension timeline. Working to be the best human we can be and growing and maturing. So that's what I'm getting on the Walmart question. Yes, there's more going on there, but nothing for us to worry about, those of us that are on an ascension path and trying to be good humans, growing and being the best people we can be. It looks like they are quietly doing some stockpiling and having some other supplies beyond retail that might be available in a time of conflict. And it's not for an extended conflict. Type 5 is usually a short duration type of thing. Okay. So if anybody watching this knows someone at Zoom tech support, will you please plead my case for me? 3 open tickets with no activity on them in 3 days. This is not tech support at all. Okay, now again, the next question I take, please, we're not trying to bypass anyone or play favorites or anything like that. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, I have a selenite bar, which is a universal recharging, and I'm tapping all 4 corners of this deck just to make sure it's clear for the question for the next question. The one I just used is going to be resting on the selenite and kind of clearing itself out as we go. Okay. Okay, question 2. Play to Win wants to know if IRS is going to do a reversal and refund taxes. Okay. So, good question. So, let's see. We want to make sure it's relevant and recent. Okay, because there will come a time. So, in the coming year, will the IRS be doing a reversal and widespread, let's say, universal refund to taxpayers in the coming year? Can we anticipate that? And is there other information the universe wants to share? Okay. And again, I'm not trying to be sneaky here. I'll be watching the camera to make sure you can see what I'm doing as I do it. IRS, coming year, reversals and refunds of taxpayer items. Can we anticipate, and is there other information to be shared with us at this time? Okay. Okay. So our first card is the Knight of Swords. White hats on it. 2 of Pentacles. 6 of Swords. 7 of Swords. The Hermit. 9 of Wands. And 10 of Wands. Okay, again, question. Clarified by recent past, present, near future, insights, and other information. Okay. Well, much as I would have liked to get a solid yes, I don't think we're getting a solid yes on that IRS question. Okay. We are getting the potential for a refund and a reversal of IRS is definitely, it's indicated by a solid, one of my strongest white hat cards. So it is something that the Alliance does intend to do. But we did put the parameter of in the coming year. Okay. In the coming year, we've got a 50-50 shot at it. No better than 50-50. Okay. However, the IRS is going away and we are well on, it's not public yet, but we're well on the way to having the IRS be a thing of the past. okay, and those kind of taxes. Right now, though, as they have to do situational priorities, that is not a top priority, and it's just been a point of compromise that they've agreed that, no, we can't go public with that just yet. Plus, remember, any good and wonderful things in the financial realm, we don't want 46 getting the credit for that. So we have to look for 46 to exit the stage as our pretender in chief before any financial boons come our way, any huge ones. Now, I know we've seen small increases in Social Security, things like that, but the big stuff, it's going to have 46 get out of the way, and it looks like because other things are taking a priority on that, we only have a 50-50 chance. Looking at the near future, though, it is something that both our alliance and our off-world help wants to have. I mean, this whole tax lifestyle is a type of financial slavery that is not blessed by the universe in any way, shape, or form. Okay, but again, look at here. We've got it is coming to an end. We have the 9, which is we're getting close to an end there, and then on the other hand, we got the 10. So yeah, it is a priority, but it is not a top priority, and I'm getting about a 50-50 chance for it. Okay. All right. So I notice with the live stream, you get a little different camera angle. I picture some of you pausing the camera and seeing what I read, and let's see. There is at the top up there, it says, I can't adult today. I often feel that way. And then there's one that I know it wasn't meant that way, and it's just a dollar store item on the other side of my Law of One books. It says, you did not wake up to be mediocre. And yeah, I don't think they meant it that way, but I take it as the waking up that most of us have done spiritually, and as far as accessing alt media for more accurate information. That was all part of a waking up process. Okay, question number 3. Janet asked, will we get rid of the royals in the UK? Okay, now this is a tricky question if we don't phrase it right, because many of the royals have already been dealt with and processed and have stand-ins, which you know my opinion on those. We do not. I look forward to being in a world where if someone's processed, it's common knowledge. If they've passed away, those that mourn, those that celebrate, and we stop having these stand-in and clones, and they're insulting to our intelligence, they're insulting to our world, and I don't think either side should be very proud of it. And I don't know what it's going to take to stop it. Personally, no matter who does it, I think they should be liable for fraud, okay, when they have stand-ins. And it's not simply to just keep a noted person safe in a public venue or something like that. But these permanent stand-ins, I'm done with them. I'm just done. So let's phrase the question. Okay. Again, we're looking ahead. So looking ahead, let's do this one as a 9 card, even though I'm not quite set up for that. Can we anticipate the public ending of the UK royals? What are the insights and information about those? Top row will be within the next 6 months. Middle row will be 6 to 12 months. And the last row will be longer than 12 months. Let's see which looks like the most likely for a ending to a public ending to the royals in the UK. UK, 9 cards. One of the things that's important to do is let the universe know what layout you're doing so they being, the universe, can arrange the cards for the information you're asking. It's not fair to the universe to ever switch it up and go to a different thing than you state as you phrase your question. So again, within the next 6 months for the top row, 6 to 12 for the middle row, and beyond 12 months for the last row. Okay, I want you to be able to see. Top row, okay, basic answer. Oops, I'm going to assume the whole deck is upside down. Basic answer, we got an ace. Looking good for the coming 6 months. Okay, clarified by the Page of Wands, so white hats will have something to do with it. And the Seven of Swords. Let's see if the next row for 6 to 12 months looks brighter than that one. Got the Lovers, that's a good one. And Insights by Devil. And the Empress. Okay, now longer than 12 months for the public removal and ending of the UK royals. Answer, got the Four Swords, Page of Swords, and the Sun. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Because we got the ace in the answer for the 6 months, but we've got really strong major arcanas in the 6 to 12 months, I'm going to say that yes, we're getting a yes, we can anticipate the public ending of the UK royals, but it's going to be really closer to the 6 to 12 months mark. So it's April, that'd be October or a little beyond, okay? It's going to be right at the cusp, so it'll be at the start of the 6 to 12, not the ending of it, okay? And by a year from now, we should have it completely, totally done with and finished, okay? Now, you heard me talking about them. I'm going to, this was the basic answer for the 0 to 6, basic answer for the 6 to 12, and basic answer for the beyond 12. They were clarified by Page of Wands, which is an optimism card, and the Seven of Swords, where they're trying to get away with a little something, kind of tending to be a little sneaky, which, hey, sneaky in the royals. Then we had clarifying these. Again, where the Lovers and the Devil and the Empress are all major arcanas. Okay, that made that a really strong row. And then less strong was the Beyond 12, other than the fact that it did have the Sun showing up as clarifying that answer. So, yeah. Okay. Appreciate your patience while I work with the decks here. Okay. Now to get this one cleared for the question after this one, I'm tapping all four corners. Gonna lay it on the selenite. And then this one that had a chance to rest and refresh a little bit on the selenite is going to be for my next question. I apologize that I'm not following along in the chat at this point. So I'm trusting my moderator, Julie, to be giving you guys some love if you need it and telling you we're here for you. And I promise I will be reading this. And I did set this up for live chat replay. Okay, so the next question. Okay, Ellen wants to know if we can anticipate a lockdown or lockup. Okay. Now, we've been hearing some things, okay? First of all, one of the good things about the pandemic was everybody got their fill of involuntary lockdowns. And I think even the most fast asleep beloved normie is going to want a really good reason to comply in the future to that extent again. Now, when we ask a global question, we know that there's more inherent compliance in some cultures than others. China was even allowing doors to be welded shut at one point, but then they rose up and protested those, even though the mainstream tried to squelch that information. The UK was very compliant with numerous lockdowns that were very strict and I thought ridiculous for what you could do indoors or outdoors or even in your front yard. And we saw it within the borders of my own country, depending on where you were, the level of compliance. We've also been hearing that if the EBS goes off, we'll be hearing good reason to stay indoors and kind of have that time out. So I would like to phrase this question where I don't just use the lockdown as far as the phrase that the universe will be answering. So I hope that makes sense to you. So let's ask the universe if what the near future outlook is for a widespread, because again, there may be places on the planet that don't even have internet that wouldn't get the information. And so we don't want to nullify our question by asking for global. What are the chances? What's the outlook for widespread lockdowns, whether they're mandatory or highly recommended for our safety and well-being in the near future? I mean, I know that the deep state would love to get their weaponized avian flu out and have that be the reason that we have the lockdowns. There's beleaguered deep state that would like to not see their efforts to avoid arrest and what have you. But let's see what the near future outlook is for lockdowns. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Kachina Knife Spread. That's 7 cards. Since Ellen asked about California, card 8 and 9 will be specific to California. Okay? So let's go with widespread. What's the outlook? And then cards 8 and 9 are going to be about California in particular. Again, you don't have to, as long as you tell the universe what you're doing and what your layout is going to be giving you information on, you don't have to follow any rhyme or reason. There's even a card read that you can do using every card in the deck. Okay, lockdowns, EBS, widespread, potential information, insights in card 8 and 9 are going to be specific to California. Okay, we have a 8 of Pentacles. For our question, the Sun. Knight of Cups, it can be a little bit tricky. False promises. We have the 5 of Pentacles for the present. Near future, King of Pentacles, the Emperor, the Sun, and now California. Drum roll. Cards 8 and 9. California. Okay, they have a 10 of Pentacles, which is a very happy card, and the Hermit. So I'm going to jump in and let's talk about cards 8 and 9 first for California. Okay? All right. I don't think California has to worry about a specific lockdown that's specific to California, even though Newsom 2.0 and Pelosi 2.0 and other shenanigan people in that state might like that, so that there'd be fewer eyes and iPhones recording any incidences that happen as far as, processing and collection and what have you. And we can thank the Alliance and our off-world help for that there's not going to be a specific to California worry for them. Okay? All right. Now, our question was indicated by the Six of Pentacles. Get a little more information here from the Star card. Okay? Remember, Star card is my 17 team card. Okay? So they've been hard at work. Okay? If we do have one, it is going to be associated with the Alliance's efforts to clean up this plane of existence. Okay? They'd like to avoid it, but it may be necessary. Okay? Knight of Cups, again, I mentioned he's tricky. Okay? He makes false promises and things like that. So it's interesting he's in the past, but not the present, and I'm glad he's not part of our future in the read here. Now, again, another strong White Hat Alliance card, the Emperor and the Sun. Okay? So what I'm getting, okay, as far as the potential and possibility, okay, again, the 17 team, if we have one, it's to accomplish what they're trying to get done. Okay, they'd like to avoid it, and some people will, they understand some people will refuse to comply regardless, that they're fed up with it, or they just want to have their own sovereignty and autonomy, and we are a free will universe. We are, okay? Now, the Shenanigans Gang has wanted to be happening for a long time, and it's because of the efforts of the Alliance, the White Hats, and just those of us everyday good humans that said, you've got to give me a really damn good reason before you're going to justify that for me, that we're keeping it from happening. So that non-compliance of us has been very, very effective. Okay, if it does roll out, it's going to be, again, something that I think people will understand the need for and voluntarily comply according to their free will. For example, if I knew that I was being asked to stay home and not miss some televised legal proceedings that would be on a loop for the next 10 days, I'd want to see them. There's some I really want to see. So, and I might understand that there'd be limited retail opportunities, things like that, so that other people could too. They could take part in that. So that's what I'm getting for that. That again, for California, because of oversight by our benevolent helpers, you don't have a lot to worry about for California specific. All of us, it is an option that may be explored, but we're going to get some really good reasons for it if it does, where our compliance isn't going to be out of fear, but out of understanding that there's a good reason for it. Yeah, you tell me the logic behind something. You have a good reason for it. Not just the science is settled and you need to do this. And I may even stay home. You were the first one, though. I was out every day. Now, when I wasn't sure how weaponized that particular V was, I got to admit, the first few days that I went out, it was just simply in my car or my yard. But I was like, no, I'm not going to be that afraid of life. Okay, let's do one more question. Okay. Okay, question 5 from Frankie. What percentage of herding littles for profit is left to dismantle? Okay. Again, this varies from country to country. We, though, especially those of us here in my channel, we do tend to take a global look. We view humanity as one human race, not 209 countries, so many thousand cultures. So I'm going to ask this more on a global scale, and we'll just have to understand that in some places, that sort of activity has been almost completely locked down. In others, like on our southern border, it's rampant. In the country that starts with a U and has a conflict going on, they've shut down some of that, quite a bit of that. Thank you, Mr. Putin. Send you my love and appreciation. Okay. By the way, I'm totally unrelated. Have you all figured out now that we're supposed to stop going Russia, 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 and we're supposed to be hating and fearing China, China, China? Okay. And how about if we all just agree to love one another, and we all just agree to wait until confirmed, demonstrable, and irrefutable facts give us a reason to have misgivings or angst and worry about an entire country. All right? I don't want to be manipulated. We are coming out of thousands of years of programming and manipulation. And I, for one, want to own my reactions and my actions both, and not have them to be foisted on me, not have them be used to energize evil as it gets energized when we fear, we produce loosh. Okay, so we're going to be asking the universe respectfully to let us know on a global scale, in this plane of existence, in this timeline, let's be real specific, okay? How close to completion is the ending of the profiting from littles, whether it's in the sex trades or product development or body parts or fetal tissue for research or whatever? How close are we to seeing an end of that on a global scale in this current timeline? And I'd like to add to that, again, card 8 and 9. I'm going to ask the universe if there's anything we can do to advise us in cards 8 and 9. Child trafficking, littles trafficking, littles profiting, littles crimes. How close are we to an end of that? And then cards 8 and 9. Is there anything we can do to speed up the process or help? Okay, our questions indicated by the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, the 10 of Wands. Recent past, we have the 6 of Swords. So many have been rescued. Current, we have the 8 of Swords. Pardon me, 7. Then we have the 5 of Cups, clarified by the 10 of Swords and the 8 of Wands. Okay, I'm deliberately not looking at 8 and 9 yet, okay? Okay, so our question was, on this current timeline, on a global scale, how are we proceeding in ending the crimes against littles and the profiting from them? Okay? All right, so globally, I'm getting that the cleanup is at the halfway point, if not better. Okay? And then with the 10 of Wands here, there's activities that are ongoing and they're really close to ending a great, great, great deal of it. Okay? Getting reassured by the universe. Again, this card is talking about protecting innocent life and going from a place of trouble to a better place. So, yeah, there have been efforts and they have been successful to rescue and many of those outlets and avenues for the crimes against our littles. Okay? But people are still, in some places, turning a blind eye to it. For example, in the U.S. on our southern border. Okay? They're believing the propaganda that these are simply illegal immigrants. I don't call them migrants. Illegal immigrants that are looking for a better life. And they refuse to look at the fact that they're actually being trafficked and sold and brought up here for nefarious purposes. Okay, near future. Okay, combination going on here. Okay, we're going to be sad to learn the extent. They said as much as the most aware of us, as much as we're aware and know, there's still things we haven't even dreamt of in our reality. It's going to cause sadness as we learn more. And in particular, 46 has got some answering to do about crimes against littles. Okay? All right. Near future, we have some events going to happen that help to bring an end to those crimes and situations, because this is an ending and a chance for transformation. Okay? All right. Now, let's look at cards 8 and 9, see what they had to say. What can we do? We good humans, what can we do? Okay? We have the 3 of Cups here now, because we're asking what can we do? This isn't about product. Okay? Other than the fact that we need to be aware the product is made from the adrenal glands of littles. Okay? And if you, for some reason, your lifestyle is such that you end up in a place where you're offered that as a whatever, run, don't take it up on it. And this is a determination card here. We have the 9 of Wands. So again, our ability to manifest rescue and rehabilitation and an end of those crimes is helping to cause it to happen. The universe is proud of us that we're saying no more and not to our littles. And humans, no matter what someone thinks they're good for, humans are not for that, period. Littles are not, okay? And so our determination, never again, is powerful, very, very powerful. And it needs to continue, okay? I've said it so many times, energy flows where attention goes. So have your energy flow to safety, rescue, rehabilitation, nurturing, cherishing, and loving our littles. And for those who haven't cherished and nurtured, who have victimized and hurt and harmed, that their avenues and paths of safety are removed from them. And they are held fully accountable, and there's no hiding. They can't walk the streets. Okay? All right, well, that's it for the questions today. Okay? And I do thank you again. This isn't my preferred interaction style, but I am going to make it more a regular thing. Julie and I have been talking about doing live with Laura once a week on Fridays. So hopefully that will appeal to some of you, but I'd still like to do my one topic videos and get those up. It's just right now, Zoom is not taking any action on the technical support tickets I'm submitting. And so my options are a little bit limited on what I can do. So I thought I'd connect with you this way because, again, who knows? This may all wrap up in years, and it may wrap up in days, it may wrap up in hours. So I wanted to take a chance to connect with you and encourage you to keep your eyes on the prize, keep your thoughts where you want them to go, okay? Picture littles being cherished and loved and those little happy giggles they do, okay? Let's picture those, that those could be widespread, common, and worldwide and cherished. And there's so many other topics I'd like to address, and I've got numerous ones for videos that I'd like to get to. So if you could put a little good thought and intention into Zoom getting off their butts and fixing my account, I'd appreciate it. I do have a workaround. I have a fellow co-creator who's going to set up a couple of sessions, so I should be able to get some videos up if I work late tonight. So we'll work around it somehow, some way, okay? So I thank you very much for being here and for being part of this. And again, whenever this channel is operating, I wasn't able to monitor the chat, but just an advisory. First of all, I will never ask you to text me. I will never ask you for donations. I do not sponsor any services. I do not sponsor any products. Times are hard, and we know that 17 has said all along to not give any time to those who profit from that information. And since I use 17 information quite often in what I do, I want to honor that fully, and I don't want to have a greed mentality. I want to have an enough mentality. Now, we have had problem with scammers saying that they've gotten, we've had viewers say they've gotten emails that were supposed to have been from me asking for donations. I don't do that. We don't do that. Those need to be reported and definitely not acted on. Okay? I live in a place of abundance. When I haven't got an abundance, I have enough. So that's where I'm coming from, folks. Okay? And one last thing. A week from tomorrow, the Sunday after Easter Sunday, we'll be doing a live stream meditation. We always do on the third Sunday of every month. And it is always at 2 p.m. Eastern, down to 10 a.m. on the West Coast, and 7 p.m. for London time. And we do have it stay up. So if you can't participate when it's live, you can do it later and just tell the universe you'd like to send your energy back to that moment when we did it collectively. And I know when I've gone back and watched one of those meditations a second or third time, you can tell the difference. You can tell that it's had more energy sent to it. It's really, really wonderful. Isn't it an amazing world we live in? And we're just starting to understand little bits and pieces of it. It is incredible, the world that was created for us. And even with all of the shackles and shutters and paths that have been hidden from us. Wow. So much beauty, so much potential, so much wonderfulness. It's awesome. Okay, well, that's it for this live stream. I'm going to give you about one more minute to say goodbye to one another in the chat. And then the live stream will eventually have the chat replay available to you. You're also welcome to interact once it's up in the comments. We look forward to that too. And I have a grandson coming over in a little bit to do a couple of projects in the kitchen. And so I need to say love and light to everybody. And hopefully I'll have some videos up shortly in the next day or so. And Zoom will hopefully get my account going. And in the meantime, we'll meet via live stream and see one another in our thoughts and prayers and dreams. Bye.